All right, this is skill homework 2-3. So there's lots of problem solving on this one. Most of them are one-step problem solving. Don't forget you have to show your work on another sheet of paper and staple it to this one. You get 4 points for the correct answer and 2 points for showing your work. All right, number 1. The Factor family drove from Arizona to Malibu, California to spend a week at the beach. They drove 421 miles in 9 hours. What is their average speed in miles per hour? That means how much for 1 hour. So you're going to take this 421 miles and split it among the 9 hours to see how much it was for each hour. Okay, so think about which operation: add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Split something into different groups. So you're splitting this into 9 hours. All right, number 2, after driving 3 hours, the Factors stopped for lunch. The bill for 4 hamburgers and 4 milkshakes was $12.65. How much change did Mrs. Factor receive from a $20 bill? So this is the total. Think about it. If you went to the store, you stopped for lunch and they told you this was your total and you gave them a $20 bill, think about what you would do to figure out how much change you would receive. Okay, number 3, Mr. Factor bought 9.8 gallons of gas at $1.15 a gallon. How much did he pay for the gasoline? So each of these was $1.15. So think about it. If you bought 1 gallon of gas, it's $1.15. If you bought 2 gallons of gas, it would be $1.15 for the first one and $1.15 for the second one. So you would do $1.15 times 2. If you bought 3 gallons, it would be $1.15 times 3. So same thing, if you got up to 9.8 gallons, because you don't always buy a whole gallon. Sometimes it is decimals. So if you bought this many gallons and each gallon is $1.15, think about what you would need to do to find out how much the total was. Okay, number 4, the Factors rented a condominium about 3 blocks from the beach for $127.50 per night. If they stayed 6 nights, how much did they pay for the condominium? So it's this much per night, and they stayed 6 nights. So figure out how much their total bill was. Okay, number 5, one night Mrs. Factor baked chocolate chip cookies. She used 20-ounce package of cookie dough to make 3 dozen cookies. Not 3 cookies, 3 dozen. What is the average weight of each cookie? So this is what she started with. She started with 20 ounces and she made 3 dozen cookies. So you need to find out how many cookies she made, and then you're splitting the 20 ounces into that many cookies. So you would have 20. You're splitting it by however many cookies she bought or she made. Obviously that's not going to work, but that's okay. That's why we have decimals. Okay, so if it won't work, then add a decimal point and a 0. Now ignore your decimal point and go from there. Number 6, one afternoon at the beach, Jim and Julie Factor buried Mr. Factor with sand. They used 45 pails of sand to do the job. If a pail holds 6 5/10 pounds of sand, how many pounds of sand were poured on Mr. Factor? So each pail holds this much, and they used 45 of them. So each of these 45 pails held 6.5 pounds. So find how much sand there was all together. Number 7, one evening Julie Factor went running on the beach. She ran 3.4 miles in 40 minutes. What was her average time for each mile? So it was 40 minutes and she ran this many miles. So we are splitting that. So you can kind of think of it like, where is it? So it took her 40 minutes to run 3.4 miles. So 40 minutes to run 3.4 miles. I want to know how long it would take to run, to run each mile. What is her average time for each mile? So if we want only 1 mile, we're going to divide by 3.4, divide by 3.4, which that's how you get the 1. So we have 40 divided by 3.4. So remember, we want to move that decimal point over. That means we got to add 1 here and move it over. So now we have 400 divided by 34. Go from there. Number 8. On 4 days, Jim Factor went swimming in the ocean. The chart shows how far he swam each day. How far did he swim all together? So all together. So all of these days combined. Don't forget, you got to line up your decimal points. So if this one doesn't have a decimal, you might need to add a decimal point and a 0. Number 9. One day the Factors went deep sea fishing. Mr. Factor caught a fish that weighed this much. Julie caught one that weighed this much. How much heavier was Julie's? So how much more was this one than that one? Okay, number 10. The Factor shot 5 rolls of film with 36 exposures on each roll. It cost $14.85 to process each roll. How much did it cost for each exposure? Okay, so we need to figure out how many pictures the Factors took altogether. So they used 5 rolls of film, which you may not even know what a roll of film is. Used to, before we had digital cameras, you would put film inside there and take a picture, and then whenever it was done, you could take about 24 or 36, and when it was done, you would take it to the store and they would make those pictures for you. Okay, so you couldn't see your picture until after you got it developed. You couldn't look at it and delete it if you didn't like it or anything like that. So they shot 5 rolls with 36 on each. So find the total number of pictures that they took. And then you're taking the $14.85 and dividing it by however many pictures you had. So then you would, whatever answer you get here, you would divide it. All right, number 11. Their favorite photograph was of Jim Factor falling off a surfboard. The original print was 35 inches wide and 5 inches long, but they had it blown up to poster size. If the poster was 6.2 times wider than the photo, how wide was it? So we are only looking at the width because we're talking about how wide it is. It was this wide, and then it was 6.2 times wider. So we're going to multiply those two together to get your answer. All right, on the back, which ratio of integers is equivalent to 125 thousandths? So you can divide each of these. Top number goes in the box. Hopefully you already know the 4/8, but if you don't, divide it and see which one gives you that as an answer. 13, which represents a whole number. Remember, a whole number can have no negatives, no fractions, and no decimals. So looking here, okay, it looks like they all have either a negative or a fraction or a decimal. So you got to think about which one you could simplify or rewrite to where it means the same thing, but it looks like a whole number. Down here, which of the following is represented by a repeating decimal? Again, you can simplify, and then if you don't know, then you divide. Top number goes in the box. Divide and see which one gives you a repeating decimal. You may have to divide each one. So you're going to divide each one of those and see which one is a repeating decimal. All right, last one. Barbara was asked to create a set of numbers that contained only integers. Which of these sets does not contain only integers? So think back to your Venn diagram that we did. Out here is rational numbers. And then inside of it was integers. And then inside of that was whole numbers. So it says which one does not contain only integers. So if it has something that would be out here in rational numbers, then that's the one you're looking for. Because if it's a whole number, remember, it's also an integer. So whole numbers are also integers. But if it's a rational number out here, then it would not be an integer. Okay, good luck.